What's up guys, my name is Pro and I'm welcoming you to my top 10 list of must-have pieces of gear for escaping the early game. I'm going to be making a lot more videos about this, so no worries if I missed an item. At the end of the video, if you want to leave a comment about an item you think I left out or a tier list of items, go ahead and do that. We are going to be going over, in my opinion, some of the absolute top things you are going to need to escape the early game in Old School RuneScape. Starting off with the fighter torso. If you don't have enough moolah to afford the Bandos chest or Torva, I would say that the next best thing is going to be the fighter torso. This you will be able to get from Barbarian Assault. You will need 40 defense to equip, and I know what you're thinking, not that place, anything but Barbarian Assault, and let me tell you that it's not that bad. I recently learned how to do Barbarian Assault. All I know anymore is eggs. Just eggs everywhere. Eggs. And it was actually pretty enjoyable. I just looked up a guide and then did one full game from level 1 to 10 as that role. There are 4 different roles. And then I looked up a different role and did 1 to 10 on that role. And you just have to do that for each of the 4 roles. They're super simple, and Kahos makes a really good guide. You just have to follow each role and you'll be fine. Next up, we have the Blowpipe. It is going to be a super good upgrade and one of the best range upgrades before, like the Bofa. You can get this from Zulrah, or I would recommend, if you have a main account, just getting it from the Grand Exchange. You're going to need 75 range to equip this. And if you want to practice gear switches, it's one of the best bosses to learn on, so go try a few kills out. You won't have to pay to get your items back for the first 50 kills, so that is really awesome. Go try out Zulrah. There are a bunch of guides on it, but I would recommend looking at King Condor's guide. Next up, we have the Abyssal Whip. With an attack level of 70 to wield and a fast attack speed, we have the Abyssal Whip. You can get this from the Abyssal Creatures if you have a high enough Slayer level, or buy it from the Grand Exchange. This will be one of the most used melee weapons a lot of times during Slayer and raids if you're still starting out. It's one of the best weapons, and it has been for many years. If you have some extra GP and want to get some extra damage, you can attach a Kraken Tentacle to the Abyssal Whip to create an Abyssal Tentacle, which requires an attack level of 75 and has +8 higher slash attack and +4 higher strength bonus, equaling about 1 point of higher damage. This process, however, will cause the whip to be consumed and cannot be undone. Once the Abyssal Tentacle consumes all of its 10,000 charges, the player will retain the Kraken Tentacle but lose the whip. Moving on to magic, the Trident of the Swamp is a one-handed staff that requires 78 magic to wield. You are going to use this probably as your top magic weapon for a long time, unless you have to use Ancients or something else specific. Mostly for raids or Zulrah, it's going to be very useful. You create it by using a magic fang on an uncharged Trident of the Seas with 59 crafting. It can only be traded when uncharged. It has a built-in magic spell usable with any spellbook, providing 2 magic experience per damage dealt. However, it cannot auto-cast other combat spells and can't be used against other players in the wilderness except in specific minigames. The staff has a 25% chance to inflict venom on hits, increasing to 100% with a Serpentine Helm. Moving on to a Barrow's armor. Barrow's equipment consists of 6 sets found in the Barrow's minigame. There are 4 sets, 2 for melee, 1 for range, and 1 for magic. Equipping all 4 pieces of a specific brother's set grants a unique set effect for each set. The only useful one really is Darox. Don't worry about really the set bonuses, but you will use pieces of Barrow's gear all through your RuneScape journey just about, unless you're just loaded with money. For example, you will probably wear some type of piece of Aram's mage gear until you can afford the new Desert Treasure gear or Ancestral. Once you complete the medium combat achievements, you will be able to do Barrows without having prayer drain, so that's really helpful if you're going for Barrows pieces. It's the perfect beginner boss for people who are just starting out for PvM or just grinding for the pieces. And we have to talk about the Amulet of Fury. The Amulet of Fury is one of the all-around best necklaces you can get, whether you're doing melee or range. You're going to want the Occult necklace for mage, so I wouldn't worry about that. But yeah, I would say that this is up there with the whip, just something that you should always have unless you have a better version like the Zenai Enchanted jewelry. A blood shard can be combined with the amulet to create an amulet of blood fury, which has a 20% chance of passively healing the player 30% of damage they deal only using melee. But there is also the Necklace of Anguish, which will boost your range attacks. And then we have the Barrows gloves. I didn't put that with the Barrows sets because you get this in a completely different way. Barrows gloves can be bought for 130k from the chest in Lumbridge Castle cellar once you've completed the entire Recipe for Disaster quest line. These gloves offer the second highest offensive bonus for range, magic, and strength, making them the most valuable long-term goal for gloves for players, unless you're trying to get like the Hydra leather gloves. However, they don't provide any prayer bonus. Honestly, if you don't have these, you just need to get them because it's going to be the biggest glove upgrade you're going to get for a long time. To equip Barrows gloves, you are going to need a minimum defense level of 35, factoring in the requirements and experience rewards from the quest needed to complete Recipe for Disaster. These gloves cannot be acquired at 1 defense without using glitches, and you will need to buy them from the chest in order to complete the Hard Lumbridge Diary. One of the scariest upgrades for some people is the Fire Cape. Facing Jad and becoming the true champion you've always wanted to be can be a heart-wrenching thing. The Fire Cape is a melee cape rewarded for completing the Tazar Fight Cave. It ranks as the second best melee cape, surpassed only by the Inferno Cape. To earn the Fire Cape, players must survive all waves of the Tazar Fight Caves and defeat Takal Jad. It is important to note that the cape won't be awarded if both the player and Jad die simultaneously. To visit Mori Rek, players need to show the Fire Cape to the Tazar Ket guards located at the city center. This action doesn't consume the Fire Cape, however, if you wish to enter the Inferno, you must sacrifice a Fire Cape by giving it to Tazar Ket Kin. This is a one-time fee. The Occult necklace is a magical amulet requiring 70 magic to wear. It is the best magic necklace you can get, and it has such a low price point, you should get it no matter what, if you're not an Iron Man. It's dropped by the Smoke Devil and its boss variant, or the Grand Exchange. Wearing it boosts magic damage by 10%, a unique bonus that stacks with other boosts like the Staff of the Dead and the Imbued Slayer helmet. Because of this, along with its magic accuracy bonus, it's widely regarded as the best next slot item for maximizing magic DPS. And next, we have the Fiic Rings. The Fiic Rings offer both offensive and defensive bonuses that match their respective combat styles. These rings are obtained from the Dagannoth Kings located deep within the Waterbirth Island dungeon. Dagannoth Rex drops the Berserker and Warrior melee rings. Dagannoth Prime drops the Seer's Ring, and Dagannoth Supreme drops the Archer's Ring. Players have the option to imbue these rings, which doubles their offensive and defensive bonuses. To imbue a ring, it costs 650,000 reward points from Nightmare Zone, or you can do it in Soul Wars, or a Scroll of Imbuing acquired from the Arena reward points. If you have 80 crafting and completed the Desert Treasure 2, the Fallen Empire quest, the ring can be broken down into icons using a chisel. These icons can then be combined with the corresponding ancient visage dropped by specific creatures and learning the process of making it from peer to seer. I guess that's a person. This process results in the ancient rings, which are more powerful than the regular or imbued counterparts. If you want some more information on how to escape the mid-game, go ahead and click on this video right here.